Apart from last week here on the Nostalgia Time, we had Miss Dragonfly in the studio for the first time. And today is the second day. What I need to do is introduce her once more. Hello to you, Miss Dragonfly.
Hello, John. Good morning to you and good morning to everyone.
Yes.
Nice to be back.
Oh, yes. It's a pleasure to have you in the studio with us. And it was so interesting last week about Feng Shui.
Yes.
Are you going to continue on with
it
today?
Yes, we'll definitely continue. And last week was insightful.
Yes, it was. I learned a lot.
Yeah, very different to what people understand and what they know about it.
Well, life is very strange as it is, and it's different, and you are putting a different connotation onto life.
Yes, it certainly is. Now, I mentioned last week that there are two schools of Feng Shui, or more, if you'd like to put it, two strands of Feng Shui.
Yes.
However, you need both types in order for it to work properly. One is the form school, which deals with the physical environment, shapes and placements and so forth. That's the one everyone's familiar with.
Oh, you mentioned that last week.
Yeah, I mentioned it, just going over a little bit.
Yep.
However, the other form that people do not know is called compass school.
Mm-hmm.
You see, in life there are ups and downs in your fortune. Everyone has that, everyone, rich or poor. Some have it in a bigger swing than others.
Yes.
But we go through phases. We have better periods and we have really, really down periods. Now, compass school deals with the dynamic energies. This means that the invisible forces affecting the fortunes of, say, a house would happen in a cyclical manner. So therefore, we would need to measure and calculate where and when the good energies will occur in order to take advantage of it. You see, what I mentioned is the energies of the environment, which Chinese called qi, that is not stagnant, does not stay the same place all the time. It changes, it's dynamic. The effect of that is like facing a house in a good direction. That good direction that it's now facing may no longer be a good direction in 20 years' time.
Oh, so it can change.
Yes, it can change. I mean, think about it. You might remember, I guess you'd have certain shops. That was just so busy.
Yes.
In and out, and then after a while, things change and it tends to just beginning to die down a little bit.
Yes.
And then it dies. I mean, I guess up here, a lot of people that are familiar with the Fairfield era would know Fairfield used to be a lot more vibrant.
I would think so.
Back in those days. The commerce shops were doing a lot better. And now I know Fairfield Council wouldn't be so happy with me saying it, but it's a lot more quiet.
Well, I've had a business in Fairfield, so I do know exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah, so you had a business in Fairfield and you found the environment was a lot different before?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Business was a lot better?
Today, I think the business is not as prolific as what it was back then. I'm talking 10, 15 years ago.
Even they're not to mention 20 years ago would have been a lot better.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It's a shame, but these things happen.
Yeah.
As now when you look in the area, it's a lot more discount shops.
They're everywhere now.
Yeah, so it seems like certain areas die off a bit.
As the old saying goes, one on every corner.
One on every corner. So you have certain areas dying off, and then other areas are thriving or growing. Certain areas. I mean, I'm trying to think of even the northwest area. You used to have Castle Hill and Bella Vista.
Yes.
It was all mostly flat, nothing there.
Exactly.
And now, if you go there, it's expensive.
Yes.
Real estate is expensive, and then you have lots of offices and so forth happening.
And there are businesses that are segregated from the residential areas as well.
Yeah, and you think, well, scratch your head saying, why all this business suddenly coming to nowhere, in the middle of nowhere, as it was then, and now it's full of them?
Yeah, exactly.
So things change. I mean, even if you think of businesses, I think, 10, 15 years ago, that was its heyday, 20 years ago, its heyday. Okay, just think back. There are certain businesses that used to do, in the heydays, do very well. And then as increased competition and things change,
yes,
it starts to go down. I mean, you have all sorts of companies, say, ice cream, people that used to do ice cream in the ice cream industry.
Yes.
Very, very popular at one stage. Then it goes down. The one with smoothies, they were very popular, the big hype. Now, not many people that into eating smoothies.
Yes.
And used to wait up to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And pay $5 for one. Did you ever do that?
No.
No?
No, I don't bother.
But now it's really died down.
Yes.
And a couple of chains of them have actually closed.
Yes.
So things don't always stay the same. That's why you find a lot of shopping centres always have to rejuvenate themselves.
there's a certain pizza company that is a multinational company that had restaurants as well, where you could just sort of go in and order that sort of thing, and
That died down.
and it's died down, and they no longer have them.
Yeah, and
So
just-
now all they
things
do is
change.
they just have takeaway, which is what I'm getting at, and you're getting
Yeah.
at, is things do change
Change.
from the way that they were originally concepted.
because originally concepted was no longer successful.
That's right.
Because things change and things are dynamic. It's just like, I mean, even if you look at certain houses,
Yes.
I was saying first that since we're on commercial, certain retail strips that I guess, was at Oxford Street, they used to be very vibrant
Yes.
and very much in a heyday, and then it kind of went down a little down. It's more quiet.
It's like reselling a house. Before you sell it off, you want to give it a facelift. So it might be a brick veneer. So what you've done, you've given it a concrete
Refresher.
overlay on it.
Freshen it up.
I forget what they call it. But anyway, basically what they've done is they've renovated it before they sell so that it looks nicer, and it does look totally different.
Yes, and then you just feel different, don't you?
Yeah.
The house just feels different when you walk in.
Oh, I know what it's called, cement rendering.
But then the whole feeling of the place is different.
Yes, it is.
So yes, things don't remain the same. That's why. So when you practice Feng Shui, it's just like both things. So it's just like a computer. You've got the hardware and you've got your software. So you need both things to function. The hardware is more the form school, the placements. The
Yes.
software is actually trying to find out where the fortunate energies are. The
Yes.
dynamic energies are, so you can best take advantage of that.
Yeah.
That is why when you follow a book on Feng Shui, as lots of Feng Shui books publish,
Yes.
it's never going to be quite enough, because if you're serious about improving your fortunes, the book would only give you one half of it. Only give you a form school. You actually need a Feng Shui expert to actually come around and measure and to find where the dynamic energies are.
Okay.
So this is the reason why it is worth paying someone. The
Has
Feng Shui
this got
expert to go.
anything to... I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but has this got anything to do with magnetic fields or anything like that?
Well, okay.
We might go to a break right now, and we'll return in a few minutes.
To actually measure where it is, there's actually a specific formula.
Yes.
And I do this as well. I go in with my Feng Shui compass, which is called a lopan. And I would take the measurements as to the direction and the direction the door is facing as well. And there's a specific formula that I calculate.
Okay.
And it takes into consideration how old the house is.
Yes.
It's actually when it was built and also the year that we're in now, the period that we're in now.
Yes.
So it's 20-year blocks normally that the energies stay for. And then it changes. So a place that could have had very stale energy, very bad energy,
Yes.
after 20 years, it could now be vibrant. Just like, we said Bella Vista.
Yes.
That's changed.
Yes.
And somewhere that you've enjoyed lots of good fortunes in, after 20 years, it's now stale, as you're familiar with. And I guess that's also, you see, shopping centres, when they redevelop, the front door is now changed somewhere else.
Yes.
It's different now. And when you walk in that new door, it just feels different.
Yes.
It revitalised.
You do see that a lot, and quite often in these big shopping malls, you'll see that a shop has closed down. It's not because they may have gone out of business, it's because the conditions are that when they have a business there, that they change on a maybe not quite so regular basis, but they do change. They refit the whole shop.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a requirement as per their lease after a certain
Yes,
years.
it is.
Yeah, you've got to.
You've got to. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, I guess that they try to keep it all fresh.
Yeah.
But that's at great expense to the shopkeepers. I know, shop owners.
Mind you, some of them do come out looking pretty well much the same as what they did before they started. So, and I could never ever figure out why, but they don't change much except they may renew quite a few things because I suppose they look a little bit tired.
So, I guess, therefore, the main concern of traditional Feng Shui is to position yourself to be in the right place in order to maximize the good energy and minimize the influence of the bad energy.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like if you're in a shopping centre, and this is a trick from people trying to figure if they've got the pick up where they want their shop to be.
Yes.
Then they'll want to know, obviously you want to know where the big traffic is. You want to position yourself.
Yes.
But sometimes you actually don't know that until the actual shopping centre reopens and then people go through and then you'll see where more traffic happens. And then where it's a bit more quiet. I mean, if you're familiar, we've gone through shopping centres where you're saying certain shops are quite quiet there. Doesn't seem like anyone's passing by.
Maybe not at that particular time that you happen to be standing there watching.
Well, not so long after that, I find it boarded up, so it wasn't doing them much good.
Yeah. Well, that can happen, I suppose. People do become impatient when they are observing different things and different happenings and times.
Okay. And so there's a note to people. If you are engaging a Feng Shui expert,
Yes.
you're paying them to come and do the whole complete job.
Yes.
To know that they're actually doing the compass school, to measuring the energies, is one of the two things. They should be asking you for a floor plan of your house
Yes.
or your business, your shop, office, whatever it is. And they should be bringing along with them the lopan, the Feng Shui compass.
All right.
And what that looks like is always red. It's a square, like a square piece of wood with a circle in it.
And that's all it is.
And that's all it is. But there are inscriptions on it, and there is a needle in there as well. Very expensive things, though.
Yeah.
The
I could
tools.
imagine they would be.
Yeah, but the square traditionally represented Earth, as in four corners of the world. And then the circle represents heaven, because it's infinite.
I do know that bit.
Yeah, okay. It makes sense now when you
Yes.
put in context and explain.
It does.
Yeah. So,
And the needle?
And the needle. Oh, we need to find direction. It's always a
gonna
needle.
say
Yeah,
that-
it's a compass needle.
That is for direction.
Yeah, that is for direction.
Yes.
Yeah, and the reason why I need to say that is I know there are Feng Shui, people that do Feng Shui, that only do the form school. They do what we call the bagua. They don't use the compass. And they may assure you that, you don't need to do the compass. When in fact, they're only doing half the job because, in a way, they're relying on people's ignorance to slip through. I mean, if you're paying someone to do the job for you, it might as well be the complete job. Otherwise, you can get a book. Okay?
Okay, then.
Yeah, okay, and that's all we have time for today.
All right, then.
We will continue next week on this big subject of Feng Shui. It is a very big subject, so
Yes.
we need a few weeks to get through.
All right. People can hear you every Wednesday here on the Nostalgia Time show. Mm-hmm. Miss Dragonfly.
You can contact me on my Facebook page.
Yes.
Just search for Miss Dragonfly. Mm-hmm. Or send me an email to missdragonfly@easternguidance.com.
Thank you very much, Miss Dragonfly, for coming in again today and informing us more about Feng Shui.
Yeah, my pleasure.